Hey, Telarus Technology Advisors, with Partner Summit right around the corner, I wanted to give you a sneak preview of one of the most valuable sessions that's going to land in Anaheim coming up here this summer. I'm thrilled to welcome AOTMP, a global leader in technology management best practices, who's going to be hosting a session specifically designed for technology advisors just like you who are looking to elevate your strategy, sharpen your competitive advantage, and deliver more value to your clients. We know that the industry is very competitive, and we know that you're looking to get your Telarus advantage, get your edge, and this is a session you're not going to want to miss out on. So I wanted to give you a sneak preview before, just to get you thinking about the session and the value it's going to offer. And I'm really thrilled to have Tim Colwell on, Executive Vice President of AOTMP, to chat it up with me a little bit, talk about AOTMP, what you can expect at Partner Summit, but also what you can expect from AOTMP as a whole, a little bit about their history, the value they deliver to advisors like you. So hang on for a minute, take in the content. This is a session you're not going to want to miss right now. And more importantly, you're not going to want to miss in Anaheim. So Tim, welcome. I'm so happy we were able to connect. You've been around in the business for a long time, maybe a top secret for some technology advisors who know you. Many in the Telarus community are part of the AOTMP community as well. For those of advisors who are watching that just are not familiar with AOTMP, maybe give the high level of who's AOTMP, how do you support technology advisors in their work?
Yeah, you bet. Thanks so much for having me here, Tim. We're excited to work with the Telarus Technology Advisors. And to your point, as a background, AOTMP has been in the technology management industry since 2003. We started as a training organization, parlaying best practices that we had learned over the years in a prior venture to help organizations master the financial and operational aspects of managing technology. Over the years, just like any organization, we've evolved. And really today, we're a membership organization. We're a certification organization. And at our heart, we are a best practice organization that helps folks get the most out of their financial and operational aspects of managing their technology. And when it comes to the program that we put together for the executive advisors, we've taken everything we know about the enterprise experience, about the end customer, and turned that around and put it into a format that helps the Telarus Technology Advisors really understand what's going on with the different roles and responsibilities within your customer base and your prospect base, and really, telling you what you need to know to be an insider for them, right? To better relate to what's going on in their organization. And that's what gives you an edge.
Well, look, there's a lot to unpack there. We have a very short time. So part of this session is really important, but you talk about an insider view, delivering value. You guys have a very unique perch because you see the technology advisor community as a whole, not just the Telarus community, but VARs, MSPs, other consultants, folks engaging in the space. But you also, something that's very important, and we'll talk about the session next, but you also know the enterprise mid-market customer very well, maybe better than anybody out there, because you're a neutral sounding board for them, a bit like a Gartner or a Forrester. These certifications are very, very valuable. People come to you for certified experts. So let's unpack what makes the session different from, a typical panel or just training that someone might get when they're going to an event like ours. Let's unpack, the value that you guys are going to deliver, and maybe some of the, without giving it all away, some of the secrets you're going to expose.
Yeah, absolutely. I strongly believe in the saying, show them you know them, right?
Yeah. Show them you know them is great.
And the more insight you can have into what's really going on within a customer or a prospect, the dynamics of the different roles and responsibilities, the decision-making processes, and really understanding not just what their challenges are, but what the real intangible impact of those challenges are in their organization.
Yeah.
That gives you all sorts of context clues that allows you to better relate your solutions to their problems, right? So one of the things that I think is really interesting today that's just, evolved, and I've been in the industry for over 30 years, so I go back way back to the kind of the early days of the internet and all that. But one of the things that's kind of interesting to me is that in today's environment, sometimes the customers or the prospects don't really have the time, effort, and energy to educate you, the seller, on their
That's right.
problems. Right.
That's right.
I mean, there's partnership, obviously, right? But long gone are the days of, hey, can we spend a half hour just to learn what's going on in your world? Today, the particularly in the mid-market, these folks expect you to come in, understand what the problem is, understand the impact of the problem,
Yes.
understand the value of solving that problem, right? And
Yeah.
tell you what the answer is, right? And do that in a concise and clear manner that relates to all their internal stakeholders. And so this particular certification and the program that we put together for the summit is really designed to help you have that insider view, that so what and who cares, right?
Yeah.
That'll help you in the sales process more quickly relate to their challenges, issues, and dynamics, and also be able to share some, I'll say some lessons learned and some stories from different roles and responsibilities. You know, the CFO, the IT finance people, they have different concerns than the network ops people do, right? And so, you know, we just want to provide that well-rounded view of all the different roles and responsibilities and how you can better relate to their challenges and therefore solve their problems.
Yeah, look, I love it. I think there's a couple things. First of all, a lot of the words that you use align directly, they're hand in glove with the things that we train technology advisors through Telarus University, through our workshops. That's why the partnership with AOTMP and Telarus, I think, is really special. To show them you know them, or we say you have to understand why John Smith buys.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know, so you have to see the world through John Smith's eyes to understand why John Smith buys. So really taking their seat, seeing it from their perspective. Sometimes you're exactly right. People just don't have the time. They're limited by time, they're limited by money, they're limited by human resources. And when they invite you in for 30 minutes, not an hour, or 15 minutes, you have to come with great information right away that captures their attention and locks them in. So I think some of those insights are going to be really good. Let's get more specific. Again, we have a limited time without giving it all away, but what are some of like the three big takeaways that you think your session's going to be able to unpack and really deliver with a punch? And then we'll talk about the next level as we advance here in the conversation.
So a couple of things that you'll get out of the session at the summit is we've taken the first two modules of this 20 module certification,
Yeah.
and we're going to provide, we're going to share them live. And so there'll be some interactivity. We're going to start talking about what a technology management center of excellence is. And the value that the advisors are going to get out of this is they're going to get some talking points and they're going to get some insights as to how helping your customers instill best practices in their organization will impact them from a business outcome perspective, not
So
just from a technology perspective.
I don't want to interrupt your flow too much, but it's really important for everyone watching. If you're interested in this, a lot of you I know are trying to make the move from SMB to mid-market or mid-market to enterprise, or maybe you have a good handle on owner-operated mid-market or owner-operated mid-low enterprise, and you're trying to make the move up the stack. The insights that are going to be shared, I think, are super powerful to help you level up, because you're only going to be able to get this one of two ways. Either you got to go through it yourself, like you got to run the course, you got to run the triathlon yourself, you got to do all the work yourself, or the clever shortcut is you go hear the stories, you hear the data that you've collected, Tim, and then now that data and those stories and those processes become your stories, everybody watching. And without that, you're going to spend years trying to figure it out. So back to you, Tim, but I think I just want to double down on that because we have so many advisors who are trying to get to the next level.
Yeah.
And it's not a magic pill. There's learning cycles they have to go through, and they're either going to learn it the hard way or they're going to find it's not the easy button, but it's the better button. It's the better way, right? And I think you unlock the better way.
Yeah, and that's a really good point, Tim. What we're hoping to achieve and what we've set out to do is to really provide that playbook of experiences that you can draw upon, right?
Yeah.
And I can say with confidence that one of the things that happens is that when you're talking to customers, and whether you're talking to an influencer, a decision maker, somebody that's like even frontline telling you about what their world's like, they'll often talk about problems, but they don't necessarily translate problems into impact, right?
Yeah.
What's the value? We all have problems. I have problems every day, right? And sometimes they're just annoyances, but then you got to make that decision. Hey, if I help you solve that problem, how does that help your business? Right?
Right.
What does that help you do? And so we want to create, kind of triangulate all those things and create that playbook so that you can begin to relate to these different roles and responsibilities. Again, whether it's an influencer or a decision maker or whatever the case may be. The other thing you'll take out of this at the summit is we're going to talk specifically about IT finance and IT finance roles. And the reason that this becomes important is these are the folks that pay the bills. These are the folks that manage the budget. These are the folks that attempt to rationalize what is the maximum benefit I get for my technology dollar, right?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
And these people are not technologists, I
No.
mean, sometimes they are, right? But a lot of times these are finance people, right? And so we often see there's this a little bit of a tug of rope struggle, right, between the technology peeps and the finance peeps. And so we want to create some relatability here that will help you not talk just in technology terms, but also in financial terms to those people that are managing the budget, right? And at the end of the day, business is dollars and pennies, so it's important.
Well, we're seeing that more and more. We're seeing the buyer's table. Of course, finance has always been sometimes behind the scenes, maybe, but now they're driving sometimes the decision. So you have finance, procurement, HR, marketing, all the table's getting bigger and bigger. It used to be 2 or 3 people, then it was 5 or 8 people. Now it seems like it's everything's a committee, and then there's subcommittees. So being able to speak their language and really unpack that finance part is really important. So I think that the best practices, the insights, the words that work when it comes to the finance team, those are great takeaways. Let's transition real quick to just community engagement. The people are part of the Telarus community, so they understand the engine that we've built. The rising tide raises all boats. People participate in our events around the globe. They go to President's Club or Chairman's Club or partner advisory councils based on attainment. You also have been community building for a long time. So you have a very unique environment. So beyond Partner Summit, beyond this session, what's available in the AOTMP community for technology advisors?
Right. There are a couple of things I want to call out explicitly. So beyond the session at Summit, there's an entire certification that you can earn. And as an executive advisor, that gives you a couple of benefits. One, it allows you to be recognized on our website as a certified seller, right? As a certified, actually as a certified advisor, right? Not seller, but as an advisor. And that's important because enterprises and organizations of all size come to us to say, who should we trust? Who knows what the best practices are, and who should we partner with? And I think it's kind of interesting because in today's world, we've got Google at our fingertips, which is a blessing and a curse. The blessing is you can search for anything. The curse is sometimes you're given 1,000 options and you have to do your own homework to figure out who to talk to. And quite honestly, particularly in the SMB and mid-market space, there are a lot of folks that wear many hats, that have many responsibilities. They do not have time to do deep dive home or research into everything, right? They often say, who are 3 people I should look at? Who are the top 4 or 5 in this? Provide some direction to me. And buyers come to AOTMP to get that direction, right?
That's right.
So being recognized as a certified advisor has value on that front. The next thing that happens is that as a certified advisor, you also get access to our annual State of the Industry meeting, which is in October. And the beautiful part about that is you get to sit and listen in to businesses, organizations of all size, talk about what their problems are, what their challenges are, what they want, what they don't want. You get a seat at the table to hear from all of our enterprise and mid-market and SMB customers that are managing technology about what's going on in their world and what matters to them and what doesn't. And I'd argue that during that 4-hour session, you really get to be the observer to get all of the intel
100%.
What's going on, right? And so, I mean, I'd argue that that's priceless, right? That's going to be the best.
Well, it's a way. Look, I joke. There's a lot of books behind me, and people say, "Hey, did you read all those books?" The truth is, I read most of them. Right? Some of them I skimmed, some of them I read. But the most important point there is, and it's the point you're making, is if I can spend $12 or $25 to get someone's life experience in a book, that's pretty valuable. When you're in a community like AOTMP and you get access to leadership like that, insights like that, it might take you 3 years worth of appointments and meetings with business leaders to get that kind of data from the horse's mouth, right? So it's a way to collapse your learning curve and accelerate your success. So I think that's a really big value. Look, we're gonna come up on August really fast here. The session's gonna be right around the corner. The year is gonna come to a close. So if you had to give like the one reason for an advisor to come check out the session, parlay it into more involvement with AOTMP, just to fuel their success, we like to say we help people achieve their most ambitious goals at Telarus. So give me the big takeaway for partners coming to Partner Summit, but also for AOTMP in the future of a certified advisor.
Yeah, absolutely. The one big takeaway is accelerate the learning curve, avoid the pitfalls, right? We all learn by making mistakes, but if through this certification you can avoid 10, 12, 15 different mistakes, you don't have to go through that you don't have to go through that cycle. You're going to be better off. You're going to get better results. You're going to get to the end game sooner. And that's really what AOTMP is about. It's about, do we know everything in the world? No. But is the technology space changing incredibly rapidly? Absolutely. And we farm information from end customers that helps us help you accelerate that learning curve. And so it's about being more agile. It's about being on point the first time and avoiding having to do the self-learning. People are smart. Anybody can learn anything. If you can get some tools that helps you do that faster, it's going to be better for you and your team.
I love it, Tim. Thanks for the time today. Collapse your learning curve, accelerate your success, get exposed to more information in a faster, more organized way to help you continue to be a thought leader as you pursue your most ambitious goals. Look, friends, we're looking forward to seeing you at Partner Summit this year. I know there's lots of sessions. You want to make sure you register for this one. It's going to sell out. It's going to be standing room only. So make sure that as you're registering for Partner Summit, you click the box to attend the session. Tim, we'll see you there. Appreciate you and the partnership. Looking forward to our continued success. Be great.
Absolutely. Thanks so much, Tim.
You got it.